Welcome back to On Defense, the only sports podcast that you're still allowed to listen to because you're grounded. Today is May the 31st. We're a little late this week. Sorry about that. But as always, I am here with my co-host, Roman Big Daddy Rubio.
Scooter, thank you for the introduction as always, man. We got a banger today. Just want to give a quick shout out, though. We do have a new hire on the On Defense team family. Our intern, Sean, social media manager. He's been running our Twitter account for about a week and a half now. Also the reason this podcast is late, so thanks, Sean. Thanks, intern.
It was a perfect show. We had a perfect show lined up for everybody, ready to be out on Thursday as usual. And Sean I'm not going to give all the details out, but let's just say he really screwed the pooch. He really.
Be sure to give it to him when he starts making posts. Be sure to just mention that there's a secret Phantom episode 4 that you will never hear because our intern messed it up.
But actually, they will hear it because don't worry.
Exactly.
You didn't miss anything. We're going to have the same exact conversation that we had that first time again. It's going to happen the same way. There's no multiverse where it happened differently. This is the same conversation, just better. Because we had to make it better.
We're going to be talking about where now Scooter might have a new favorite sports team in all of sports. Going to be talking about some free agency news for the NBA. Mm-hmm. I might go on a little tiny rant today about something that's really getting me down. Try out some new segments here.
Yeah, really grinding his gears.
But to start it off, let's recap. Like we said, this Friday the 31st, the conference finals are done and finished with. We'll talk about the East first. Celtics end up, might have been a 4-0 sweep, but it was a close one. But yeah, Celtics win 4-0 and move on to the finals.
Yep, Celtics go 4-0. I mean, like I said last week, that I think the Pacers really blew their shot to make it a competitive series. They really needed that game 1 win, and unfortunately, we just saw fold after fold. Each game, they had leads in the fourth quarter that they're just going to hold 3 times, I think, 3 out of the 4 games.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 games easily winnable. Like, you could say that maybe game 4 was probably, like, maybe a little less out of their control. Like, game 1 definitely should have probably won that.
Yep.
Game 3 up by 18 at one point. 5th, like, largest blown lead in NBA, like, playoff history. Game 4, though, I mean, you blow those 2 leads. It's kind of like you have it in your mind. Yeah. The other team's like, oh, we've already done this before. Let's do this again. So, like, the third one, I can't really, like, put that. You can't put that on the Pacers. I mean, it's kind of just where, like, now they're kind of just been beaten down after that. But, yeah, I mean, definitely the series could have gone anyway. I mean, we saw this last year in the Western Conference Finals. The Nuggets sweep the Lakers 4-0, but the Lakers won that series. Like, were leading more minutes than they were trailing in that series and lost 4-0. I mean, sometimes comes down to experience, better execution, better coaching, and like a lot of different factors.
Yeah, I mean, it's just speaking of coaching, it's just one of those things that I just think the Pacers could have handled situations much better. I mean, losing Tyrese Halliburton in the last 2 games,
tough.
That also sucks too. Adding on to the narrative that Boston just got basically valet service straight to the NBA Finals this year. I mean, talk about easy, Roman. Can we talk about easy?
Can we talk about easy? Before we talk about easy, I want to give the props to the Pacers. I mean, you can take Bucks fans and Knicks fans probably out of this equation, but I feel like most of the NBA walked away with a lot more respect for Pacers than they had coming into the season. Like, throughout the season, it was like, oh, they are this crazy team that doesn't play any defense. They just play offense. And these playoffs, they had some grindy games. They had some games where they needed to play some defense, and they played great defense. They had a lot of guys rise to the occasion. Andrew Nimhard, who's going to be playing for Team Canada this summer.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be nice to see how he, coming from how great he just played the last, 3 games, seeing what he takes and goes into the Olympics for that. But Team Canada is kind of stacked. They got some nice teams. But, Pacers got a lot more respect for me, at least.
I mean, they definitely, like I said, they definitely play well. They were definitely in winnable positions. Just with Rick Carlisle, I just felt like he could have handled that situation better. But sometimes it's also out of the coach's hands if the players nerves get best of them and stuff like that. And it's got to be exciting to be a Pacers fan, especially who knows who you can attract with performances like that. Of course you want to keep Pascal Siakam, but you're not going to win with just Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. Yeah. So you really need to find that third guy. And I don't know if he's on the team or not right now.
Yeah.
But, you definitely need somebody either arguably better than Pascal Siakam, but at least Pascal Siakam range as far as talent goes to even stand a chance. I think to breaking that glass ceiling and getting to the finals and actually standing a chance. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think Pascal. I mean, what he showed in the playoffs was great. Like that's the type of guy you want on your team that just makes those. He just he has that spot, like unguardable spot. Like, he gets to the mid range, like right around the free throw line. He just pulls up. Doesn't matter how good the defense is. He can hit that shot when he's feeling it. It's an unguardable shot. And with Tyrese Halliburton having a pass first superstar like that, average over 10 assists, that always wants to get his teammates involved. That's a great way to attract more talent. Like somebody that knows, hey, this guy might be the best player on the team, but he is also pass first, so I'm still going to get, I'm going to do what I think I can do to, bring the team better. But enough with the losers, all right? Let's get to the Celtics, man. Finish the Eastern Conference 12-2. I know. Jimmy Butler was out. I can't believe Josh Richardson is even being included in this as he was out, and it's a reason that they won. That's ridiculous. Donovan Mitchell missed 2 games. Tyrese Halliburton missed 2 games. I get it. What I think a lot of people need to at least give some credit, maybe not all the credit, some credit to the Celtics. We are without our third 20-point per game scorer. Dude has averaged 2 blocks a game, is a mismatch nightmare, 7-3, can shoot from anywhere on the court. One of our highest field goal percentage shooters in our entire team, and just he adds a different level to us. But I think it's a lot more impressive than what people are giving us. 12-2 without our third best player, almost the whole playoffs. But
I mean, it just sounds pretty. Like I said, it sounds pretty easy. 12-2 doesn't sound like you have a hard time if you're 12-2.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, they're gonna have so much rest. I mean, both teams will because I mean the Mavs won last night to close out the series 4-1. Which I mean, hey, I'm glad that went at least 5 and. 81% of the teams that win Game 5 win the series. Mm-hmm. So I think that stat went up a little bit more last night.
I feel like every single episode we have talked about that stat, and I feel like that's going to be a trend. We're going to be like in NFL playoffs. You're going to be like in Game 5.
81% of the people that win Game 5 go and win the NBA championship. So let's see what this wild card team.
Yeah, give the Celtics some credit. 4 games out of the 12 beat them by 20-plus points. 8 games out of the 12 we beat them by over 10 points.
Easy.
And there are 2 losses. The Heat went absolutely nuclear and made the most threes in their franchise history. Donovan Mitchell went nuclear in the Game 2 that those Cavs won and literally couldn't miss in the second half. And people saying we haven't been tested. We were tested by the Pacers. I mean, I know they weren't full strength, whatever, but...
I don't think you've... I said that, so I said this the first time we did this conversation, and I'll say it again. Luka is after Game 5, it just keeps going. Luka is playing this is Luka's year, and I love him just talking shit to everybody. And one time, what did he say? He told somebody to get the fuck off him or something like that, and then the media asked him what he was saying, and he was like, I was speaking my native language. I don't know. I wasn't saying that.
It was the game winner on Gobert. He was like, you can't guard me. You can't guard me.
I was speaking Slovak. Yeah. He was like, I wasn't saying that.
And I definitely, this series, conference finals, Luka's best series of the playoffs, which is, crazy to think that, I mean, not crazy, I guess. He's been injured the first 2, really. He was banged up. He's still kind of banged up. But yeah, his best series. Coming out, you really think he's about to take the next step in the finals. But you could say, I'm a little biased, you could say the same thing on the other side. Jaylen Brown, his most efficient, best playoffs of his entire career. Jason Tatum averaged 30, it was 30, 11, and 6 through the whole playoffs. You could say it's his year too. They're both playing, but
they've been going against easy opponents.
Okay.
They've been going against guys who are easy, all right? And Luka's over there in the West where it's hard and gritty, and there's good young teams and
good young inexperienced teams.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah, as we transfer over to the Western Conference Finals, obviously 4-1. Mavs just took care of business last night. Whooped that booty.
Kyrie had a game too, dude.
Kyrie had tough shots.
He made some tough shots, but then really because he dropped 30 something, didn't he? Didn't he drop over 30? I think. If not, he was very close. At one point, I saw he was up to 26, 28 or something like that. But and he was hitting some tough shots when they needed to hit him. But a lot of his shots were wide open. The T-Wolves.
36, they both got 36 actually.
Yeah, the T-Wolves it just seemed like they were giving up. You're down by 20-something on the road with a team that's clearly hyped it and stroking.
Yeah.
It's It's tough, bro. But so I mean, it was impressive, the 36. But I think a lot of those, it was just not that the whole fourth quarter is garbage time, but that whole fourth quarter was kind of garbage time.
Yeah, and I think there's a common theme in these conference finals with these two teams is the Pacers exceeded expectations and got their young, inexperienced team. Literally anybody but Pascal Siakam has no idea what past the second round is like, basically. Yeah. Same with the Timberwolves, like Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, most experienced players on those teams.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell, obviously, because both series, like even the Wolves and the Mavs, Wolves had games where they should have won those games. Like 2 out of, like at least 2 or 3 of those losses could have gone either way, but inexperience bit them in the butt. Cat started playing bad. Yeah. Anthony Edwards did not shoot well.
He was not very efficient. He would make he makes very, because before the playoffs, I didn't watch a lot of Minnesota Timberwolves basketball, and he makes very impressive shots, but then there's days that he will miss those very impressive shots a bunch before he hits them.
Same way.
So so it's just that was one thing that was kind of eye opening was when he's balling, but man, when he's not, those shots do not look as good. Yeah. And when Cat shot 0 of 8 from one game, so not 0 of 8 from one game, 0 8 from 3 from one game, and for being the best shooting big man of all time, ooh, that's tough after saying that. And I mean, you're very good at 3-point contests, but
I think they really saw everyone always says, the farther you get in the NBA playoffs, the tougher the competition gets. And Ant and Cat, they really look like they hit a point where holy crap, we aren't used to this type of play, this type of game planning for us specifically. They beat the defending champs, but as the playoffs go on, I mean, there's a different feel, there's a different atmosphere, a different intensity to the games, and it just they both shot really bad in this series for the most part, and it was inexperience. It came down to inexperience, at least for me, why both of these two teams are going on to the finals. But Timberwolves, I mean, bright future. I mean, they got a young core. We'll see what happens with this Rudy Gobert stuff. We can talk about that.
So he another defensive player of the year this year. It clearly has some value
in the regular season
that people see. But man, I feel like he gets played off the court. I feel like for a defensive player of the year, I've never seen somebody get targeted as much as he does. Yeah. And I just feel like we should have just with the performances that he was given, and the thing is, if they had him on skates the whole time, like Luka did that one game, it'd be one thing. But there was a lot of teardrop, a lot of stuff at the rim that I feel like was supposed to be his wheelhouse of stopping that he wasn't stopping. And it just we should have just gave the defensive player of the year to Victor at this point, because then we would all have been able to have this hype of this guy's going to be one of the greatest ever, and it would just been a much interesting story than watching Rudy disappear again. Mm-hmm. And if I'm the Timberwolves, as good as he is at defense during the regular season, he is such a liability at times on the offensive side.
He has zero bag. Most bagless guy.
That's what I'm saying. And if that's the case, then you should be strong enough to power your way through it and use your crazy length that you have to finish at the rim. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't do any of that, I don't feel. And I don't know who, because he signed recently, didn't he? He signed a pretty big contract.
I thought he signed. I'm pretty sure he signed a contract in Utah, for Utah, and this is probably has at least 2 more years left, I think.
But I feel like he's getting paid big money.
He is.
And so who takes the route? I don't know. You need. Clearly, the team runs a lot better towards the end of the games when Naz Reid comes in, and they can use him as another offensive option that isn't just sitting by the basket.
Yeah.
And do you move on with that as your plan, and you just make him a starter, and you move Rudy? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you move Rudy, and I mean, shit. Then I know they're looking for a center. Does Golden State become a Rudy Gobert landing destination? Because who else were they reaching out for? There was another center that they were reaching out for, wasn't there?
A center?
Yeah, wasn't the Golden State Warriors trying to trade for a center?
I don't remember. Oh, I think Jonas Valanciunas was another center. There's some other free agents. I don't know about trade wise if they're trying to.
No, Jared Allen.
Jared Allen.
Yeah, they're trying to get Jared Allen. So if that's what they're looking for, if they're looking for a Jared Allen defensive tall, I mean, the Golden State's not worried about going over the luxury tax.
I don't know if they can make a trade work the trade finances work in that. They probably, definitely would have to put
I mean,
Andrew Wiggins, maybe
Clay.
Oh, dude, sending Clay to the Timberwolves sounds like a bad idea.
A bad idea? I think you send Clay. I think Clay goes to the Timberwolves, doesn't get a big of a role that he wants, and it turns into a frustration thing where
maybe
it doesn't work out. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting theory.
Because Ant's gonna want more shots, Cat's gonna want more shots. Whatever.
Jay McDaniels wants to take a step. Nas Reed take a step.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and then so you got all these guys that are going, and then Mike Conley's still your point guard, maybe. But I mean, Clay's not the starter, and he's definitely not coming in and doing big things off that lineup. I don't think. Now, would he be able to come in and hit some big shots, and that might help them out? Definitely. Yeah. But if that's not the role that Clay wants, then maybe that blows him in the face.
Yeah.
Because
it's interesting. I'd have to see. Like, we'd have to find out if that's even a viable trade. Like, I don't know what the contract situations are for those.
No, me neither. I'm just playing with free money.
Just playing with
no
free
salary
money,
cap. I turned off the salary cap, and that's the rules I'm playing by right now.
But yeah, I mean, I've defended Rudy. I mean, 4-time defensive player of the year. He's a great 82 games guy. I mean, it's a regular season award. Yeah, it sucks to like when it gets to playoff times, it feels like he doesn't have the impact that he did in the regular season. I think people like Anthony Davis and Bam need some more like respect and a little bit more like, you know, maybe the stats aren't what everyone else's were, but those guys can switch 1 through 5 and not be picked on. Like, you could do a pick and roll with Bam and put him on Luka, and yeah, Luka's going to get his stuff, but Bam and Adebayo is going to have it because he's a very agile, like 6'9", 6'10" type of guy. But I mean, yeah, maybe need to like I think a lot of the awards, at least in the NBA, need to be reevaluated with like how it's voted on. You know, like I know Rudy Gobert had some insane stats. I talked about it in episodes ago where he just had really good stats and really good on-off percentage when he's on the court. They're a completely different team than when he's off the court. But in the playoffs, didn't seem like that.
Well, and like I said, just watching him get targeted the way he does sometimes, and then like watching who was the runner-up, Victor Wembanyama, play. There was times, dude, and I'm pretty sure everybody remembers this, but there was that one fast break where it was like 3-on-1, and Victor just being down there made all three of them like pass it 3 times.
There was a whole highlight reel of him doing that, causing people to rethink their decisions at the rim. And
it's just that, like, I don't think that's like going to change when Victor gets to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think once they get to the playoffs, people are like, oh, let's go at Victor, because I think they're still going to be just as worried. But also, he's much better out in the perimeter, I feel like, than Rudy is. So.
But Rudy had a better matchup in the second round than he did, because how the Mavs work, how they run like their pick and rolls, and how just smart Luka is in the pick and rolls and stuff, caused more issues than round 2 against the Nuggets, where Aaron Gordon's not much of a 3-point shooter, so he was able to guard Aaron Gordon in the dunker spot while Jokic and Murray ran the pick and roll, and he was a help defense there, and he kind of had more of an impact that series than this series. But again, like we said, you move farther in the playoffs, people find better ways to pick on you and put people in uncomfortable situations. But enough again with we're talking too much about the losers here. Jesus, let's move on to the winners, right? Mavs moving on. Celtics, Mavs. I mean, we were spoiled 10 years plus of LeBron James and Steph Curry in the finals every year. Like one time it was one of them, the other one it was like, or they were there together versus each other. But it's refreshing. It's refreshing to have 2 newish people in the finals. Jason Tatum's been there.
Two of the people that are going to arguably take over the face of the NBA when LeBron eventually retires.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier, Luka's having just one of those years where he just seems like it's his game to lose.
Yeah.
He's just playing with such confidence, and even though he has looked beat down all playoffs, he's pushing through it and making the tough shots, and he's hitting a lot of and ones and just like
dog in him.
Yeah, he's got that dog in him. And I mean, it makes me question: is Luka the greatest Dallas Maverick player of all time?
If he wins a chip, I mean...
So he has to win the chip.
He has to win
the chip to pass Dirk.
I mean, what Dirk was doing, I mean, Dirk, like, he revolutionized the big man position, I mean...
So if Luka wins the chip this year, hands down,
I don't know. I think you could probably still make a debate. Let a couple more years go by, but obviously, like, trajectory that we're looking at right now, he's gonna surpass Dirk. But.
Yeah. It's just... Man, they're just so lucky. Well, not lucky. they did their research and they picked very good international players. But just getting great after great has to feel great for a franchise, man. And I just and the thing is Dirk. I liked Dirk when he was in the league. They got two guys who I feel like it's very easy to root for. Yeah. Because I don't know, like Luka's this big old doughy. Like he doesn't seem like the tough guy.
Doesn't seem like a guy that's gonna just fuck you up.
Yep. But man, will he?
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you too.
No, and that's
people,
I
like talk about nothing but how Ant was this smack talk everybody loved, but I'm not seeing the same love for Luka over here.
Yeah, well, I like it.
I like it too. I like it too.
Like when he was talking shit, I don't know if he was talking shit to Snoop Dogg or if
he
was just talking to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But like him just like talking to people like that, that's the fun part, man. I feel like that's what used to like back in the day, like with the Pacers and the Knicks, like when the celebrities would get involved and like they would get like I love it. So
I think we're getting more of that. Like the fact that we have Ant and Luka kind of doing that. I think more people. Tyrese Halliburton and the Knicks, like that series. There's a lot of smack talking, a lot of front runners. What you want to say? Whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's always easier to talk shit when you're in the league.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Jay said it best.
That is the time to talk shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is when you're in the lead. You know what I'm saying? Like when me and you play basketball and I get the lead from time to time. I'd say it all the time where I'm like I want to remember. This is the moment that I remember when I was in the lead, so it's always easier to talk when you're on top. But I know you're gonna hate me for this. I know you're gonna hate me, but I think the Mavs got it, man. I think
how many games?
6.
I'm about to say you give us at least 6, brother.
I'm hoping for 6. I do not want to see a sweep either way. Sweep either way. Well, of course you do.
Save me some years on my life.
Yeah, I mean, of course you want to see a sweep one way, but like, it's just for like if anybody gets up 3-0, I'm gonna hate it because it just like all the other ones, it's over, and then
unless it's not,
and then we're gonna get to Game 5, and we all know that 81% of the teams that win Game 5.
I mean, I've been watching the Celtics all year. I mean, I love this team. This is a great. Just an all-time favorite team for me. Like it's just the vibes have been immaculate all year. Like everyone's just seemed to have been having a good time. I love the matchup. I mean, it's two teams or two duos fighting right now for the best duo in the league.
Yeah,
I think next year you could talk Giannis Dame could easily be in the running for that. Like LeBron AD, we'll see. Jokic Murray might be coming back for vengeance. But right now, like, whoever wins this series, I think a lot of people are going to start looking at, like, oh, that's the best duo we got in the league right now. And I think the Celtics have the edge in terms of role players. I mean, that's easy to say. Obviously, I'm biased, but, like, we have the 2 of the best perimeter defenders in the league. We've got Kristaps, who, when healthy, is a game changer for us. We got Al Horford, who, when he's at the top of his game, he's hitting 7 threes in a game at 38 years old. We got Peyton Pritchard, who's a flamethrower. Sam Hauser sucks right now, but hopefully he picks it up. But, I mean, I think we got the edge in the role player. I think they probably have the slight edge in the duo lane. Like, so 5 seconds left in the game. Kyrie has the ball. Dallas fans feel good. Celtics fans are scared. Luka, same thing. Celtics, Jason Tatum has the ball. It really depends sometimes, but like he's going to take this contested step back 3 that's not going to be a good shot. Like I feel like Dallas fans are way less scared when the Celtics have the ball 5 seconds left for the win, and the Celtics fans are way more scared if the Mavs have the ball 5 seconds for the win.
Yeah, I think
more clutch, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, I think you guys have a reputation of just outright winning the game.
Yes,
where Luka and Kyrie have the reputation of if the game's on the line, they win those games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, and I think we've had those moments, but obviously we haven't had them to the degree of Kyrie Game 7, 2016 NBA Finals stuff.
But when you're winning all your playoff games by 37 points, Roman, you're not going to have a lot of those games. Yeah. All right? When it's been so easy for you, you're not going to have those games. But the thing that I was just thinking about when you were talking about...
Celtics in 6, by the way.
Yeah, Celtics in 6. Okay. When you were talking about old Porzingis a Dingus.
Dingus Bingus.
Yeah, old Dingus Pingus Porzingis a Dingus. When you're talking about him, I just remember that, the Mavs do have Daniel Gafford, who was his teammate in Washington.
Yeah.
Like
was his backup.
But a lot of practices, a lot of one-on-one matchups. I want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
They're not going to get those one-on-one matches.
You know,
Very often. No, what they're going to try to do is do pick and rolls and put like Kyrie or Luka or someone on Kristaps and just let him. He does this little thing where he's like backing down and then he like pulls up this way and like just shoots it. Like, sorry, you guys can't see it. I'm so sorry. Like,
he's describing how he shoots. So
yeah,
Kristaps Porzingis.
But it's like he like pulls. He's like at the mid range and like pulls up like right in their body and then tries to get an and one. But he's so tall that he still shoots over them and it's a beautiful shot. I don't think he's going to get a lot of like those type of one-on-one matchups in the post. I think it's going to try to be more create mismatches and all that. But we'll see. I mean, I would like to see it. A lot of good storylines like Kyrie coming back to Boston, Luka, Kristaps, old teammates.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Because
yeah,
he was supposed to be his
Dallas.
number two that they thought could get to the job done. And
Yeah,
they
I forgot.
But
Yeah, they traded him away.
a lot of good storylines. I mean, I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a good finals. I mean, I think we should be a lot more appreciative of some of the games we're able to see and watch and the players we're able to watch than we are. But I'll talk about that later.
And just because you keep talking about him, and what a career like for Porzingis, because went to New York,
got booed, drafted for the ball,
got booed, then became the unicorn.
Yeah,
everybody loved him, and then
he wanted to trade.
Yeah, and then everybody hated him. And I wasn't paying a lot of attention to the Knicks during that time, so I don't know what happened to work, because it seemed like everybody was super happy. He's in New York. He's in the Mecca. He's in one of the biggest markets. So as like an international player, that's got to be great for you. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know what happened there. But then it went from everybody loved him to everybody hated him to then he got sent to Dallas first, right? And then he went to Washington.
Yeah.
So
Dallas
went to
Washington.
Dallas. Wasn't the prodigy again that they thought he was going to be. Got sent to Dallas or got sent to Washington to rot.
And he played great in Washington.
Yep, played great in Washington.
But for nothing, really.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, him and Bradley Beal. They had
just
fun.
They just put up points.
Yeah. It seemed like they had fun down there.
Yeah.
And then he gets sent to another contender where he's third man, and now
fourth man even some nights, fifth man some nights. I mean, it's just a lot less stress for him. Some people aren't built like. There's so many people in the league that could be the best player on the team because it's the NBA, so much talent.
There's a lot of talent.
You got to one be able to handle that shit, and two be able to like perform when you need to perform, and that's just
and stay healthy. Which
he does
kind of a luck thing, you know what I'm saying? Like
he did also say if he could go back in time, he handled the New York situation immaturely. He said he was young and like he was requesting a trade. If he could go back and change it and do it differently, he probably wouldn't have done.
Because I mean, and then just think about that. Because then like if he stays in New York and maybe like just gets a little bit of structure around him, even though I know that's hard for New York to do. Like they get a little structure around him and they build off of him.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what New York has at this moment? True. Do they even need Jalen Brunson? Do they get Jalen Brunson still? And then there's a Porzingis Jalen Brunson thing going on. Like I don't know.
They played together in Dallas. I mean,
they did.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could have played together in New York when they were both a lot more polished.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to the free agency side. The people who aren't playing anymore. Let's talk about people who have already lost. Maybe because they weren't playing in their games, or maybe because their teams let them down, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're talking about moving to new teams. They're done with those teams, and they want to move on.
Jimmy Butler.
Butler.
In that conversation, I mean, rumors that the Heat may not be willing to offer him a max contract extension, and that he wants a max contract, whether that's with the Heat or somewhere else. The 76ers have been linked back to their old ex-baby daddy, wanting to see if he'll come back and give him another chance. Recently, right before we were recording this podcast, the Warriors apparently are going to be expressing interest in Jimmy Butler this offseason. Two other sleeper teams that haven't been named. But yeah.
I mean, okay, so one, is the move back to Philly a good move for Jimmy? I don't know. One, they have some stuff that they're building with Tyrese Maxey, and I feel like bringing Jimmy there will take the ball out of Maxey's hands. I mean, of course, I think everybody knows that Tobias Harris is gone, so you're going to need somebody to fill that kind of tough guy, guard, forward role.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could definitely fit in there, but the Golden State Warriors is pretty interesting to me because...
I say so as well.
they would have to get rid of some people, I feel.
Yeah.
Definitely Clay. Again, I think Clay or
Draymond. I mean, people are thinking Draymond might be gone. I think people are saying more Draymond than Clay.
Draymond might be gone. I feel like Draymond does a little bit different than what Clay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that would work very well. I mean, Jimmy would definitely bring an edge to them, but I'm not really 100% sure. I mean, Jimmy to Cleveland.
He wouldn't go to Cleveland. I guess I don't know where he would go.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy to Cleveland. I mean, if they want to get rid of Donovan Mitchell, if they can't work anything, Mitchell goes to Miami.
See, but you heard the rumors about Donovan Mitchell that he was upset because the last 2 playoff runs, he feels like the people on the team weren't taking it seriously enough. And if that's Jimmy Butler instead of Donovan Mitchell, we get into Minnesota Part 2. Like, if those guys aren't ready, if they're not taking it seriously, Jimmy Butler's saying, Coach, give me the 3rd string. I'll get these guys a dub in round 1 without anyone that you need other than me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if that is the case,
if
then,
it's true,
then Jimmy probably doesn't want to go to Cleveland.
But it would give the Heat a chance to reload. Like, if they offered Jimmy for, like, maybe Jared Allen wouldn't fit, but, like, Darius Garland or even Donovan Mitchell, I mean, you could just change the sceneries for both. Could work out. Yep. Personally, I like the Warriors move. I don't know the trade, what would have to happen, but just, like, guarantee Steph, Jimmy Butler, you have a guy that can hit all these crazy-ass shots from the three-point line. Then you have Jimmy, who just... Again, like these deadly guys in the league that just get to these spots in the mid-range where you just cannot stop them if they are on their game. And having that paired with Steph Curry is just like really hard to defend, I feel like. Like you got Steph who was just chucking when he gets past half court and switching nothing but net. And then you can give it to Jimmy who can dribble down and then just do a little pull-up right inside the free throw line, cash money, 2 hands in his face, doesn't matter. Like I like that more than 76ers because I feel like the 76ers... There might be some bad blood there. Don't know who's all still there, from the last time, and he might still have some like.
Daryl Morey's still there though, isn't he?
I don't think he was there before.
Was he not? Was
he
not there?
He was in Houston then. Pretty sure.
And then I don't know, and I'm just thinking about it right now. Like, if the Warriors were to trade for Jimmy Butler, who else would they have, and would they even be able to go out and get a center? Like I've heard that they are trying like. It seems like they want a center as well. Yeah. But if you go and get Jimmy Butler, are you be able to get a top tier center like you're trying to get?
I don't know. I think they'll definitely have to trade Andrew Wiggins and somebody else because Andrew Wiggins got some money.
Yeah, I mean Andrew Wiggins will have to be gone. Like, there's no way you're paying Clay because I think Clay still wants to get paid something.
Yeah, he's a free agent, so if he takes, I think he's probably going to want money. I feel like he's taking a pay cut for most of his career, so he's probably going to want to get paid.
But I don't know how he gets paid now. Yeah, I mean it sucks for him.
I don't know. People like team like the Magic would definitely, I feel like, pay to have a veteran like him come in there that's won 4 championships. That is already shown that he's okay with coming off the bench. Maybe he's okay with coming off the bench for Orlando. And
it could just be because I think one of the things is they have a lot of young guys who can drive and create contact down low and stuff like that, but they don't have a guy besides like Joe Ingles who's like...
Even then, Joe Ingles wasn't shooting that well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but like that's like their spot up 3. I mean...
Because that was their main Achilles heel. They didn't have a lot of shooting. They had a lot of like mid-range, like drive, power guys, but not a lot of... But yeah. That's interesting. The Warriors, 76ers, and even Cavs are like 3 of the most interesting teams this offseason because I feel like the Warriors could partially blow it up, but still keep it intact enough to still compete.
Or maybe the Charlotte Hornets swing for the fences and we go and get Jimmy Butler.
That would be
so we pay Jimmy, we get Jimmy to come in. We don't pay Miles Bridges. Bye-bye, Miles.
Bye-bye.
We use that money to get Jimmy Butler. And now we got a dog who he's gonna get mad for smoking weed in Atlanta. You know, like he's gonna like he's the opposite of Terry Rozier. And maybe that's the guy who like he looks at LaMelo and he says, "Hey LaMelo, before you leave tonight, make sure you turn on that blinker and you take a slow turn outside the stadium." And then LaMelo goes, "Thanks, Jimmy," and we have better communication, better all-star. Like and the Charlotte never loses again.
Never loses again.
Because we get a guy like Jimmy Butler. We get Jimmy Butler, and we draft Donovan Clingan from UConn. I swear to God, if we draft Castles, who doesn't want to be here, he doesn't want to be in Charlotte, he doesn't want to work out with us, you better not draft him. Or Reed Shepherd, even though Reed Shepherd might turn out to be like a...
People are talking... I know jack shit about Reed Shepherd.
I keep hearing that he's another shooting guard. Tyler Hero, Devin Booker from Kentucky.
Celtics were 1 pick away from getting Tyler Hero back when he was in the draft. By the way, I really wanted him. I wanted him so bad, and then we lost on him. But now I don't like that guy very much.
I would take Tyler Hero on my team. Like Tyler Hero, I think is a guy who, if you definitely put him in the second line, he's your best player on your second line, and if he's out there shooting good enough. He's a player that you keep out with your first line when they sub out your second line. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very important. If you got a guy who can be hot like that, I mean, y'all saw what happens when the Tyler Hero team gets a little hot from 3. You know, like, they win playoff game.
Yeah.
They win
playoff game.
Yeah, they win one playoff game when that happens. But, like, I would, like, and I know my expectations are low because being a Hornets fan, but, like, I feel like any team wouldn't mind having that,
If he's willing to, like Pat Riley.
Yeah.
Like that presser where he just dropping bombs and everything on being as candid as you wouldn't expect anybody to be.
Yeah.
But saying that Tyler Hero's best role is coming off the bench for that team, and I don't think that's what Tyler Hero wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Like, I think, he's a great guy coming off the bench, but I don't think that's what he wants. I think, because he feels like he's up there with Devin Booker and them, like, in terms of people in his draft class.
And there's times that he can't, like, there's times I feel like he does play up there. But, I think your best option is to spin it like, Manu Ginobili is going to be a Hall of Famer because
True.
He decided that he was okay with listening to a great coach tell him that he needs to come off the bench. And that probably helped out Manu's career a shit ton.
But I could be wrong, but before, like, he was, like, locked in and never coming on, never starting ever again, he may have already had a ring. So it's a lot easier to tell somebody, hey, I need you to buy into this because we've done this. But, I mean, Tyler Hero, he's been to 2 finals, so, I mean, a little easier maybe for him to buy into it because he's been to the finals.
Yeah.
So, like, hey, man, just buy in a little bit more because we got these couple more people we're going to bring in and we're going to take us to the top. And we need you off the bench.
But if you're in the middle of your... And I got to look up when he started coming off the bench. But I feel like they won a title or 2 with him being 6th man. And...
Yeah, I think he's always been off the bench. Like, I think he won a title off the bench, and then that's when they were like, hey, you're going to come off the bench forever.
Yeah, but the thing is like, he's also a guy who won gold in the Olympics, right?
That is maybe true. Yes.
I think Argentina won gold with Manu Ginobili leading them.
Yeah.
I think also Luis Scola was there. Wasn't Luis Scola on that team, too?
Luis Scola.
Like,
that man's hair.
Yeah, and dude, that one highlight where Kobe starts talking shit to him in Spanish, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, he had to know he had some value, and plus he smacked a fucking bat out of the air. I mean, he could do anything. He could do anything they needed him to do.
You're right.
Like, he was worth it, and like, I guarantee there was teams out there that were willing to pay Manu a shit ton of money to come and be a starter, and but that's a special type of player you're talking about. That's willing.
Yeah. Not everybody's like
that.
Yeah, and James Harden wasn't that kind of guy, and that's how he ended up on the Rockets, and now he's an all-time player.
But I think James had a point there. Like he
wanted the OKC was stingy. They didn't want to pay him.
Yeah,
and that was the end. Like OKC should just pay him his freaking money.
Yeah.
And then kept him, and they would have been perfectly fine, maybe.
But
maybe,
he sucked that finals. So that was the problem there.
But it was also their first finals.
It was their first finals, but he disappeared. I remember, and I mean, it's hard to confidently pay a player that type of money.
True. That's true.
I'd say it's so much easier to pay a player on a shitty team. Like, it's easier to pay LaMelo a shit ton of money on a shitty team with the hopes that when we get there, he's going to be great, versus paying a player when you just saw what happens when they get there and he faded. Like, it could be just a lot harder, Hopium is one hell of a drug,
True. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I feel like I said, very interesting team. It sounds like they can go any type of way, whether that's trading Jared Allen. I think they're going to trade him. I think they're going to trade him and move Evan Mobley to the center. So I feel like that's where Evan Mobley could really thrive, just being that only big man. They can either stretch the floor or not stretch the floor, because Jared Allen doesn't stretch the floor. He sits in the paint, and Evan Mobley then has forced to stretch the floor. So he can kind of do what he wants. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, it seems like one of those two is going to be moved, because Darius Garland plays better when Donovan Mitchell's not on the court. We saw that in the playoffs. He was a different player games 4 and 5 when Donovan Mitchell was not there playing, and I just feel like at one point you got to make a decision. These two play similar games. Maybe Darius Garland's a little bit better of a playmaker than Donovan Mitchell, but they're very similar in their scoring ways. They're both about 6'1", 6'2". You got to move on to somebody. Like you gotta pick one, and you got to send the other packing and get some assets back.
I don't know if I'm Cleveland. This might sound very surprising. I think I would hang on to Darius Garland, trade Donovan Mitchell.
You can get more assets for Donovan Mitchell.
You get more assets, and I don't think Donovan Mitchell will ever win a championship being the best player on the team.
Yeah.
And that's the case right now in Cleveland. And I think it's best for Donovan either to go somewhere real interesting, like maybe like San Antonio, where you might be equal to Victor right now.
Yeah.
But it's very shortly.
You're about to be second fiddle real quick.
You will be second fiddle very quickly, but that's not a bad thing. Or he gets sent to somewhere like the Lakers, where he might be the best scorer on the team, but he might not be the best player on the team.
Yeah.
And I think those are, like, the Lakers might be one of his best options. I don't know if Golden State would be that good for him.
No.
I don't think so.
Too much of a, not much of a passer.
The Magic, that'd be crazy.
The Magic would be crazy. They'd have to give away either Franz. They'd have to give away Franz Wagner for that, probably. Like, no way the Cavs would budge and not get Franz Wagner.
Okay, but so I mean,
and I don't know. That's 22 and 21. Franz Wagner's 22. Paolo's 21.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like Paolo could be number one. Who's to say Franz Wagner can't be number two?
Yeah, but who's a better number two? Would Franz Wagner be a better number two? Doing not the same thing. I feel like
right now, definitely Donovan Mitchell.
I think, but so are you trying to win now when your team was fourth in the East in a weak East? You know, it
was a weak East because of injury. I mean, when Giannis and Dame come back healthy, Nick's coming back full strength, Pace coming back with that confidence. I don't know if it's a weak East anymore for them.
I don't think Dame and Giannis are going to work.
Really?
I don't. He can say what he wants. Just all the negative about it doesn't seem like Dame wants to be in Milwaukee. I think that does, it works on somebody when you're in a place that you don't want to be, when you really want to be in another place.
I think he went through a lot of shit. Like, he went through divorce and all that.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. And, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's just had a lot go on that, like, is he that same dog that he was in Portland? Like, and it's a lot different than being the guy who is single-handedly trying to pull Portland up with him. And no matter what Dame did, Dame was always going to be great in Portland because he had nothing around him. Now, Dame has greatness around him. Yeah. So now there's that pressure of if Dame doesn't play well, he's dragging down Giannis. Yeah. When he was never dragging down anybody in Portland. He was the reason why they were being uplifted. So I think that's a big difference too. It's a totally different situation.
I think they're going to be great. I personally hope they don't win any more championships because then Celtics wouldn't be able to win a championship. But I think they had this identity for these so many years. Like they were this hard-nosed defensive team, and they ran through Giannis. Giannis was their guy. They had Chris Middleton, who was a baller, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, defense, and then you uproot that, you trade your main defensive guy, and you get Dame, who's very heavily offense. And then now all of a sudden it's, oh, wait. We have two superstars now, not as good of defense. Chris Middleton's getting injured. I mean, that's another factor in it, but they had a different identity this year, and it was shown that in the beginning, the new coach and then Doc Rivers, they couldn't really find their identity, their footing, injuries back and forth, everyone was just injured. I think if they find their identity, they get some more role players to come in and do the roles that they expect them to do that they've done in years past, and they get that defensive mindset back, but still have that explosive offense with Dame and Giannis, because that's just a duo that is insane. I think they got a chance. I hope they don't. I hope they have no chance. I hope the Celtics run them over every year, but I'm big fan of Dame and Giannis as players individually, and I think if the both of them really want it to work, it'll work. But if you're right and Dame doesn't want to be there and he's really just he's not in it, his heart's not in it, and he just wants to get out and go to Miami, then it's not going to work. But those two are two great of players. If they want it to work, no way it's not going to work.
Yeah, it just seemed a little when the trade was announced and Dame's going to Milwaukee, it just seemed wow, this was a championship caliber team already with Dame on there. There's going to be no question about it, and I feel like there was questions about it the whole season. Yeah.
And it didn't help that they fired their coach after being the second best team in the league. I know their defense was sus, and Bucks fans are very happy with the firing and believe it was the right decision, but a lot, it was a drama-filled first year that Milwaukee's not used to. Milwaukee's not used to this drama, all this attention, so it was definitely a different year. We'll see what happens next year. We'll maybe revisit this.
Let me tell you, their luck can change because it was announced that Bronny James is going to the draft, baby.
Shit.
He's never going back to college.
Never going back.
No more NIL deals. Strictly just real big boy money now. And,
if you're okay with being third fiddle, Dame, get Bronny in there. Get Bronny in there.
The Bucks could draft Bronny that brings LeBron. And now the Bucks are a super team, or not again, but they're a super team. And now you're third fiddle, but now you got two big guys to hide behind. And maybe that's the case. But Bronny James is going to the NBA. How do you feel about it? How do you feel?
Hey, man. I mean, I think we talked about it the last episode. Like, I am a fan of him going to the NBA. He's not going to more than likely play in the NBA his first couple of years. He's going to be in the G League mostly. We'll see what happens with that. But the fact that his people that he wants to go be like, or like Drew Holiday and Derek White type players. I mean, he can definitely fit that mold. He's got a strong body. Like, he weighs more than most people his own size, so he can match up with those types of guys. I would love him on the Celtics. I mean, we got him on the Celtics. We stashed him in the G League for 2 years and let him come up and try to prove himself. I would love that.
I think.
Yeah, go.
I think this is all a ploy for viewership on the NBA draft. So, this is the thing about the NBA draft. There's usually 4 or 5 really good players that everybody's worried about seeing where they're going to get drafted at. Once those drafts happen, and the NBA wants to make the NFL, or not the NFL, the NBA wants to make their draft like the NFL, where it's a multiple day thing.
Yeah, they've announced, actually, I think that next year's going to be a multiple day thing.
First off, stupid. That's so stupid.
2 freaking rounds.
Yeah, and 2 rounds, and second rounders very rarely make a huge impact. Now, I know Jokic was a second rounder, and I'm not saying
Brogdon, Rookie of the Year, second rounder.
That's what I'm saying. I understand that. I'm not saying that all second rounders don't, but let's be honest, a lot of them don't turn out to do anything.
Yeah.
And here we have a second rounder with a name, and I think a lot of this media coverage is just for the NBA to cash in and maybe keep viewers. Because if I could do an over-under on how much the percentage of viewership will drop as soon as Bronny James is drafted, I would say probably 60% over. I think that's what people were caring about. Is
who's the second round is going to be the most watched second round of all time.
Of all time. And because they've been
Unless
very smart,
in the first round.
They saw a player that and that's the crazy thing is we all are agreeing that no team wants to waste. Well, I'm not going to say no team, but majority of teams do not want to waste one of their first 30 picks on Bronny James.
The Suns reportedly may.
Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Which is nuts, but if you think you can get LeBron.
Yeah, reports are it's only the Lakers and the Suns that he's working out for.
So, I feel so, I think we've talked about this a few times, I just feel so uneasy about this. It just seems something so shady is happening. First, he gets into the Space Jam movie, right? He gets the son to be the star of the Space Jam movie.
I thought it was Bryce in the Space Jam.
Was it Bryce that was in the Space Jam movie?
Yeah, I swear it was Bryce. Kid with glasses, right? The kid had glasses on. I'm pretty sure it's Bryce.
Yeah, to be clear, we know that LeBron James' son was not in Space Jam.
No, Bryce was. I'm pretty sure.
No, that was not his son.
Okay,
that was not his.
Sean, cut that.
That was not his.
You sure? You swear to God?
Yeah, look it up right now. Look it up right now. I'm not cutting this. This is not getting cut. This is going live. I will keep saying stuff.
Dude, I swear.
But, no, look up Space Jam cast, and I guarantee Bryce James is not the one. And if so, I'm about to look like an idiot. All right, and I'll keep it live right now. But I do not think, 1, he was in there, and 2, he knows how to make a video game, okay? Especially at the caliber of video game that was being made.
Is that it right there?
Is that the kid right there?
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, that's him, I think. Yeah, what was his name?
Dom. Oh, no, it's Cedric Joe. Damn.
Yeah, that was they called him Dom, too. They
swear.
They couldn't even use one of his son's real names. They couldn't get the likeness. They were...
Damn it, Sean, if you don't cut this!
Their NIL deal wouldn't allow it, all right? Their NIL deal said you can't use their likeness in the Space Jam movie.
I swear.
But
whatever.
You never watched the Space Jam movie, have you?
I thought it was
you only watched the good one, right?
I thought it was better than the first one.
No, you did not. Did you really?
Nah, they're both cringe as fuck. If anyone says either of those movies are good, you're lying to yourself.
What?
They're cringe, man.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, the first one's just so cringe.
Are you kidding me?
Man.
They went and they got the talent stolen from, let's arguably say, the best 5 superstars in the NBA at the time. And 2 of them were on the Charlotte Hornets. All right? We were 2 out of the 5 Monstars. All right? Muggsy Bogues and Larry Johnson were there. Now, I don't know what difference Charles Barkley was having because he moved the same before and after his talent was stolen. but you know, like I think there's a scene in Space Jam, just going on a Space Jam rant, where like I think Charles Barkley shoots a free throw or something like that, and he looks like he can't do it, and like the guidance by the director had to be like, do your golf swing, because I don't know if you've ever seen his golf swing.
Yeah, it's bad.
But it's awful.
Real bad.
But
they're both cringe. Sorry.
Yeah, but Bronny James, he's going back to Bronny. Back to Bronny. He's going. He's not playing college ball anymore. He's not going to class anymore. And I think really the only reason why the NBA wants us to give a shit is because they want us to watch the draft more.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really care where Bronny goes. Because if so, I feel like they would have tried to stop some of this tampering that's going on.
The Lakers part is definitely like tampering, or not, maybe not tampering, but just like, sketch. Not right.
It's all sketch. To me,
the Suns, I think, is a little bit more reasonable. They are bare bones. The Suns ain't got fucking nobody. So Bronny wanting to only work out with the Suns is great. He wants to show them, hey, draft me, sure, stash me if you want, but when you need me later on in the year, I'm here, I'm ready. Give me some playing time so he can prove himself. I think the Suns is a legit reasoning.
Okay, but this is my problem here is, so what, they got the 22nd overall pick, you said?
I think so, yeah.
So if they have that, you're telling me you're willing to take the 40th or 45th overall prospect that Bronny is, I think that's what he's rated at, around that area.
He's actually rated 54, which is also funny that you mentioned that. 54th, and the 55th pick in the draft is the Lakers.
So there you go. So he's rated 54th. You're willing to take a reach, so you're telling me you're so bare bones, you're willing to reach on a guy who is ranked so far back, versus taking a guy who clearly is being rated for much better talent. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's the shady shit. Is like
it's sketch that they are, but Bronny I think has a reasoning.
Well, no,
for the Suns. The Lakers is sketch, but Suns for him wanting to just work out with them, I think is reasonable. But them wanting to take him at the 22nd pick is just desperate.
If LeBron signs with a team that picks Bronny at league minimum, like it just like. I don't know, man. It just seems like a bad move. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem right, and we'll see though. Yeah. We'll see. One, we'll see where Bronny gets drafted. 2, we'll see if Bronny ever plays.
We'll be talking about it. Don't you worry. When the time comes, we'll be talking about it.
Bronny Watch will be on lock. Right? I will be there at the second round.
That will be our segment.
Yeah, watching every second until Bronny gets picked. Or until I get bored from waiting for Bronny to get picked. And what if Bronny doesn't get picked? All this talk.
He's gonna sign a multi-deal.
Yeah, boo. This is like, boo. Yeah, boo.
The ratings will still go up because he ain't been drafted. The most tune in for the 60th pick to see if it's Bronny, the last pick in the draft.
Yeah. I'd pick him. I would be a real shitter team, too. What's the team that you don't think he said he would never play for the Magic, right? I'm drafting Bronny James. I'm drafting him. I'm saying your son will be here. Your son will be right here waiting for you, or we'll just throw him in the G League and he'll never see the light of day.
Good stuff.
But good luck, Bronny. All right, and speaking of new segments, we're trying some new things, trying to expand our horizons. And Roman, I heard you got some thoughts. Some things on your mind that you just really want to get off your chest. So we're going to have a first ever annual, semi-annual, weekly, we don't know how many times we're going to do this, Roman's Rant of the Week. So Roman, what's on your mind, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of pissed off, man. NBA fans, let me tell you. I am more involved in the NBA than I am like any other sport, really. I love the NBA. I watch all the NBA, whatever. NBA fans are never fucking happy. When are NBA fans happy? Tell me a time in life when NBA fans were happy. to go back to 2018. We're tired of the Cavs and the Warriors. We want new people. We want new teams in the finals. Blah, blah, blah. Now we've had the last 6 years of not a repeat going back to the finals. And every year somebody's got something to fucking bitch about. The Celtics had an easy path to the finals. Injuries. That's the only reason the Celtics are in the finals. Let me go back for you. 2015, Cavs. K-Love, Kyrie, not in the NBA finals. Man. No one's complaining. Maybe some people complaining.
I'm pretty sure everybody in Cleveland was complaining.
Yeah, everybody in Cleveland was complaining. We'll go, super team. Like, everyone bitch about Kevin Durant, super team that they made it there. 2019, Raptors, KD, Klay Thompson injury. Who's bitching then, other than Warriors fans? Everyone's like, yeah.
Well, not to stomp on your rant here real quick, but what I think is happening there is, one, everybody was getting tired of LeBron, and it was the era of Steph coming in. So, of course, everybody was happy that Steph was able to find a way to dethrone LeBron. And also, LeBron at that time was such a polarizing... He's the guy who can literally do it all. He took Cleveland to the finals when he was there the first time, didn't win it, but took them there. Learned how to win in Miami, and at that point in his career was the guy who could literally... You could put anybody on that court with him and he was going to win. And I think that was, even though, his two main guys got hurt, the expectation is LeBron's the greatest player of all time, so he should be able to make them win. And plus it was just exciting to see Steph, who was changing the game at the current moment as far as how people view 3-point shots, to win using that thing. Your next one was when you said that they were the Kawhi
Raptors
being yeah. Well, again, by that time, we've had enough Steph and the Warriors. So now here comes Kawhi, who forced his way out of the bad San Antonio Spurs. They were so mean to me. And so he gets sent out of San Antonio. I mean,
cut that shit.
No, it's true. It's true. They were so mean to him that he gets sent out to Toronto, gets to hang out with Drake, and Drake actually starts watching Toronto Raptors games.
Yeah.
And now they're cool, and they win. And to be fair, I thought it was very exciting to see a team that's never won it and been that close to win.
Dude, so I thought so too, but it just seems like nobody's ever happy. I mean,
29 other teams lost.
Yeah.
So, of course,
but
the
it's just
majority of
these people are calling themselves NBA fans. Just call yourselves other fans. Like, just enjoy basketball. Like, I feel like, this is me biased. I grew up in this. This is like my adulthood era. We're living in what feels like to me just the talent level is ridiculous. Sure, you could say the rules are different, whatever, but I'd also argue that the skill talent is freaking different. Being able to have 5 people on the court on each team that can stretch out is obviously going to lead to more scoring because the paint's wide open, or there's people that are collapsing in and people are cutting outside. I just feel like we're in such a good spot that people should stop bitching and start appreciating. We have 2 guys under 27 that are in the finals. Someone's about to win their first title, and no one's happy. Or the entire East is pissed off. The entire West is pissed off. Nobody's happy.
I don't think the West should be pissed off.
They shouldn't.
I think the team that was the hottest, that was playing the best basketball, won the West.
Since February 5th, these have been the 2 best teams with the 2 best records in the entire NBA. Not a coincidence that they're both in the finals. Not a coincidence. Let's also say only 8 losses for the Celtics since February 5th. We're kind of balling.
So the whole league's been easy for the Celtics.
Exactly. We've been kicking ass all year. Yeah, we're freaking here.
The whole league's been easy.
I'm just mad at NBA fans, man. No one's ever happy.
Just for some perspective though, back in the day when Kobe was torching the Suns, and I was a huge Suns fan, I hated Kobe Bryant.
I also hated Kobe Bryant.
And I didn't want Kobe Bryant to win. But looking back on it, I was watching one of the best players of all time play. But it takes that perspective of I'm no longer mad that my team lost to one of the greatest players of all time to realize that the reason why we lost was because we were playing one of the greatest players. Yeah, we were playing one of the greatest players of all time.
I feel like that's just a lot of people's issues. No one likes to appreciate the moment. We all like to look back and be like, man, we took that time for granted. It's the same with video games. You see that with COD and 2K every year. Those games get released, everybody bashes on them all year. Then the next 2K or COD comes out, and they're like, you know what? Last year's wasn't so bad.
I want to buy it.
I mean,
I'm going to buy it.
I know, but it's just like, man, NBA fans just make me mad. Nobody's ever happy. Can we just sit back and enjoy a good finals? I know it's easy for me to say my team's in the finals. Not that I'm going to sit back and enjoy
and
this.
arguably been in the most finals ever.
No, I've not been in. We've won. Not the Lakers have been in like 32 finals. We've only been in 23.
Only 23 finals.
I know what I'm saying. We're not been in the most finals.
Only 23.
Not in the most finals. Definitely not in the last like 3 decades, 2 decades, whatever.
I was thinking about this on the ride over here because like me and you, we do have a little bit of an age gap difference, and I remember like I don't know if there was ever a thing for you. But there was a long time in basketball games where the Celtics sucked.
Yeah,
like, I remember,
that's when I became a fan is when they sucked. When they just had Paul Pierce and they were finishing with like 20, 30 wins on the season.
I just remember back in the day being like, and it was before I watched basketball. I was like playing some NBA game in 1996 on the PlayStation, and I would just see the Celtics, and I'm like, I don't pick that team because they're bad. Like
Len Bias, man, he died and killed our team, man. When he died, he killed our team.
He killed it.
Not him. It wasn't his fault, but we drafted him, and he was supposed to continue the dynasty, and unfortunately didn't work out.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I don't know the story.
Oh, you don't know Len Bias?
No.
You should watch the documentary 30 for 30 ESPN. Oh. Really great story about a dude. He was supposed to be better than MJ. He got drafted number 1 overall by the Celtics. We still had Larry Bird and shit. It was like early 90s or something. And then like literally like draft night or day after draft night, like he died. But apparently snorted cocaine in a room and then died.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's why I don't snort cocaine in rooms.
Set our franchise back 20 years or something. But yeah. But it's a great documentary. You should watch it.
I'll
really
check
great.
it out. But is that you good?
Yeah. I mean,
good?
I hate NBA fans, but I love the NBA, so I just appreciate everybody. I'm not a hater. I don't hate people in the NBA. I think fans sometimes get a little too emotional and start to hate players instead of just hating fan bases. There's every fan base in the NBA is shitty as hell. Like we're all bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, a little extra rant. I'm over. I'm done. Bye.
But we'll move on and we'll talk about just the last thing we usually like to end up on is just the what else is going on in our lives. What else are we doing besides sports?
Yeah.
And I mean, you watched X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Cried a lot.
You cried.
No, you said you cried too.
I cried 0.
He told me he cried so much.
Definitely emotional.
I definitely cried, and I'll admit that
I did not cry.
But he cried.
I did not cry. But it was very good show. Very well written.
Very good show. And I don't want to say too much because it's only like 8 episodes, so you should 10. Just go 10 episodes. So you 10. Should I think it is 10. So you should definitely go and just experience it. You don't really need to watch X-Men.
You don't, man. Like even if you don't know the characters, you don't know who they are, whatever. It's still just like great show, And then hey, comment down in our comment section on Twitter. To me, my X-Men.
To me, my X-Men.
Once you finish the show, so we know you've watched it, you enjoy it.
So yesterday, I went and I watched Haiku, the Dumpster Battle, the movie. 120 minutes of pure bliss. I loved every minute of it. I did not cry. I did not cry. Got close. My buddy who I went to go watch it with, he did cry. But,
little baby.
It's hard not to. And I cannot... anime, guys, I understand that there's a aura about anime at times. But let me tell you, if you're listening to this show and you love sports, give some sports anime a try.
Kuroko no Basket.
Yep, Kuroko no Basket. There's Haiku. There's a bicycle anime called Yomashi Pedal. There's one running anime. It's a cross-country anime called Run with the Wind. And, I know it sounds dumb, but, everything that you probably love about sports, they really highlight with, the passion and the teamwork and connecting with teammates. That, I love it. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Expand your horizons. And then tell me your favorite anime that you experienced, and I'll probably go watch it, But besides that, we've been addicted. I would say to
big time
to EAFC recently.
Yeah.
A little hit. We don't play a lot of soccer or football, some footy. But man, what a fun game.
Yeah, me, Scooter, and our intern Sean have gotten pretty into it. We were balling. We just hit Division 3 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So if playoffs start today too. So we're gonna be grinding that.
Yeah, the playoffs start today. Yeah. And also, if you see On Defense, if you play in the On Defense team,
just know you about to get whooped.
Yeah, and also, can you just let us score?
Yeah, or just quit, back out, give us an easy dub.
Easy dub, you know.
Not that we need it because we'll kick your ass.
Yeah,
anyways,
that's really the part. Is I don't want to embarrass y'all.
Yeah,
you know, I just don't want you to think, oh, I don't like those guys because they kicked my butt in the AFC 24.
Yeah.
But man, what a time. But one more shout out, one thing before we get off, I can't leave without talking about it. So our little lovely town of Jacksonville, North Carolina, recently has gotten a minor league team called the Jacksonville Ospreys, which I'm trying to be a fan of. I am trying to support my local team, so I'm looking at their schedule, trying to see who our opponents are, who's in this new league that we're playing in. And boy howdy, I found a new team, and it's making me... I want to be a homer. I want to be a guy rooting for my hometown team, but I found a team, Roman, called the Danville Dairy Daddies from Danville, Virginia. And every fiber in my body, it's beautiful. They wear pink and brown. Their mascot's hot as hell, and they might have their Twitter. I think it says they have the hottest mascot in sports, and their catchphrase is "Get milked." Their social media presence is amazing. Please, everybody, go support the Danville Dairy Daddies. Because I feel like those are the type of teams we need. They also have another team. I guess the team, the owners own another team that are called the Danville Otterbots, which I'm also in love with. And I don't know where Danville, Virginia is, but I'm thinking about just making the commitment and moving there.
Getting season tickets.
Getting season tickets to the Dairy Daddies, getting milked as much as I can. And really just supporting a hometown team because, God, our team just is so boring and bland.
Hey, Danville Dairy Daddies.
The Danville Dairy Daddies.
If y'all happen to stumble across this podcast and you made it all the way to the end and you're hearing this right now, hit us up. We'll do anything to be a part of a game.
Yeah.
Get maybe some players on the podcast and talk about the...
They had a sketch appreciation night the other night.
They did?
They did. They had a sketch appreciation night. They had everybody dressed up as sketch in Danville, Virginia.
Hey,
brother,
you got fans in us. You got some fans in us, Dairy Daddies, and keep getting milked.
Keep getting milked. But thank you everybody for listening. Please go to our socials. On Defense Pod on X. Twitter. We are on
Twitter,
Spotify. We're on the Apple Music.
We're on YouTube.
We're
anywhere else you get your podcast. We're on there. I put a lot of work in to get us all on those spots.
If you have anything that you want to talk about or anything that you want to comment on, please comment on any of our posts or DM us. Yeah. DM us. We can have a commenting on commenters commentary stuff.
Our intern Sean will respond to your message in speedy fashion. Promise you.
Super fast.
But yeah, we're gonna start some polls on here on Spotify. We'll start some polls on Twitter. Starting to do some more of that. So get some more engagement from you guys. Let us know what you think. We might even start a poll and just have you guys tell us what you want to talk about next week. If there's something we missed or some news out there, sports world that you want us to talk about, we'll talk about anything.
Because really. Next week, we're going to have pretty much a week break for basketball. So we're going to be looking for some stuff to talk about. So you just go ahead and hit up our DMs or hit up our comment sections.
Yeah.
Or, hit us up on Spotify and let us know.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, thank you all for listening. We do appreciate all the listens we get from you guys. I mean, we can't thank you enough. Okay, bye.
Bye.